All right, welcome to Chit Chat Money Making Monday. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This week's title is Build a Trusted Photo Booth Brand. How to look credible, consistent, and premium so clients feel confident booking you. I had AI work with me on this presentation. I think it's great. It may be a little beginnerish for some, so I definitely want to put that out here. And then when we have Q&A, please let's go a little deeper where we can when it comes to building a brand, which should start in the very beginning before you even start. Like one of the first questions when starting your business is, what do you want your brand to look like? Creating a logo, colors, themes, right? But this is more than that. Like when people say your business name, how do they feel? That's really your brand. Not the colors, not the logo. Of course, that helps aesthetics, but when people are deciding to use your services, what is their immediate feel about your business? So as we move through the presentation, please think of yourself and your brand in that way. There is an opportunity for you to do some kind of self brand auditing, and a lot of times we look at our work and we think, oh, it's great, but I also want you to feel what your clients feel. I want you to think about the reviews you've received and what is a constant that you are hearing in feedback from clients, um, or people that just know you in your business. Trust is a booking magnet. So by building a brand for yourself, for your photo booth business, you are going to attract people that believe you to be credible, believe you to be consistent, and are going to get the job done. At the end of the day, the client has a vision, and if you can tap into that vision and deliver or over deliver what you've discussed with them, that plays into your brand. So first things is professional, looking professional. What does that mean for you? Being professional can mean a couple of things for people. It could be, when they call somebody back, the way their documents look when they are delivered through email or uh, PDFs or what have you. The way you show up to set up. Are you clean and polished? Is your cases branded? Is your team on time and look very professional? Consistent, same high standard every single time. If you have a client that books you all the time, is it because you do a great job? Yes. But for the most part, it's because you consistently show up for them. Being on time, showing up early, staying prepared, delivering on schedule. I had a event last year, October, and the client was a little frustrated or fluttered when I arrived. And I always arrive at least 2 hours ahead, or somebody from the team is going to be there 2 hours ahead. And we were almost done setting up, and they were walking through, kind of looking at everything. And I noticed where we were set up, there was supposed to be a whole lot of other things going on, but we ended up looking like we were in a room by ourselves. Well, come to find out, the room was supposed to be filled with another vendor who was doing game tables, and they were running late. There was traffic. And that wasn't the only vendor. There was a few vendors that day that were saying, "Oh, the traffic, the traffic, the traffic." Um, I always use Waze. I tell my attendants use Waze to project when you're going to arrive. And if we were going to be late, we're going to definitely keep the client um, notified. But they said we always can count on you being on time and being early. So that made me feel good. Branded, a cohesive look and feel that reflects quality and attention to detail. That could be in the way we look, clothes wise. That could be in the way we look the way we move, the way we operate, the way we set up, the way our backdrops are looking. I was just thinking to myself when I first started, everybody kind of was doing either like a pipe or drape, or they were doing like sequence, and there was so many things. But when I started using my pillow top, ooh, what's that? Ooh, where's that? Ooh, what you? And that's not the case anymore. Now it's the norm, right? It's what it's expected. And so you could kind of tell whose booth was who based on the way they set up. I still think you can, but it's getting more and more the same. So the client, when they book you, can think aesthetically, where am I going to place this vendor? And they know how you're going to show up. They know what you're going to look like when you show up. Um, and those of you that are doing white labels. There's a lot of us doing white labels. That is why chit chat is so important. So you can connect with people that have the same types of booths. So say you can't make it, you can white label out to another company that has the same flavor and style as you. Start to befriend those people in your city. There's a couple people here that I'm like, oh, if I couldn't go, they could show up and not miss a beat because of the way they look, their style, their work ethic, the way they train their attendants, just in that you can only learn from conversation and going back and forth and talking with people. And you would, don't think the way you think about your business, other people do. Some people are way more advanced and strategic with their marketing and their technology and the this and the that. And then you may, like it's so many people that haven't tested DSLR cameras to their um, iPad, you know, and people are watching. So, case in point, I have this new, I guess it's on and off again contract with the local casino, and we just got our casino, like a real casino, right? We've had slots before, but now this is a real casino, so we have our first one. Anywho, the person that told the client about me is another event company who has photo booths. And they told the client, you should go with this company because the quality of their work speaks volumes. So I didn't know that. I just thought I was referred. I kind of heard that part about it, about the work, but it was more so the type of work. They're really interested in our roamers because it's a casino. They want you to be able to move around and go into the slots and all that kind of stuff. So anywho, they really like the roamers. So last week, or this week, goodness, one day was that? A couple days ago, we had an event, and the same guy that referred me was there, and he says, "Yeah, yeah." I'm telling him we got 13 photo booths, but you're one of the only that are using the DSLR camera with their iPad. And I was like, oh. Now, they're DJs. I didn't think they were paying attention, you know, but they happen to be paying attention. So just never know what clients or other vendors are noticing about you, right? If you work a lot of weddings or you work a certain type of event all the time, you start to run into the same vendors. And those vendors, when asked, will refer you. One, I mean, if y'all get along. One, if they like working with you, then they'll want you to come work with them some more because it can be a long, say if you, especially if you're doing weddings, it could be a long day. And who wants to be in a room with vendors that you don't like or don't know? So just be cognizant of how you treat your vendors when you're working with them. Maybe if it's a long day and you have several hours of setup, you come in with coffee, or you come in with some donuts, something to pick people up, oh wow, she's cool. Every time she comes and works, she brings something with her. Those are your clients too, your vendor partners. Those are your clients. My biggest client now is a vendor partner. One of them, one of my biggest clients is a vendor partner. So I want to make sure they're happy. I want to make sure they're happy with me. I want to make sure that they feel comfortable with me. And so it's only, you can do what you can do, but you also have to train your staff to live up to your brand, or share with them your brand, and what it looks like to show up in your brand. that you're memorable. People can remember you. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, the girl. How many times have you gotten a phone call because somebody remembered you from, oh gosh, I can't admit. Sorry. Somebody remembered you from an event you did. So just stay memorable. So the roadmap, today's roadmap, the key ingredients of trusted photo booth brand. First impressions matter. What is the first impression somebody's going to get from you? It may not be a phone call. It may be seeing you at an event. How did you show up at an event? When I used to do Tracy Lynn Fashion Jewelry, one of the things my mentor told me is like when you are at an event, your goal is to get the next event. So you already got the one that you're at, right? Yet you want to show and prove because you want to bring more business to your company when you're at an event. So when we're at our events, we're already trying to impress the venue. We're trying to impress the other vendors. We're trying to impress our clients so that they refer us. Definitely the guests. We want to give the guests a amazing experience. But first impressions is it's either going to be when they call, they went to Google and you showed up, right? On the first page, the second page, the third page. I don't know how long they're looking. When they find you and they call you, right? They can find your number easy. They can see that you're on social media and you're being active and you just did something that they wanted at their event. Um, that's the first impressions. Their first impressions is how did you show up in their lives? Okay. And that starts to build the trust. If they go through your social and you post, every week or every day or once a month, they can see the consistency in what you post. If you post energy from your different events, you post a lot of, oh, she does weddings. Oh my goodness. Yes, she's perfect. You know, all that matters. Brand consistency. Show up the same way every single time. I know it's hard. And especially if you have different types of booths, if you have inconsistent staff, um, if you are a white labeler and you're changing up your white label partners ever so often, being able to show up consistent. Oh, I'm sorry. Make sure everybody's getting in. Okay. Professional experience. Everything you do is professional from the time they call, you answered, right? If you didn't answer, they were able to leave a voicemail. Check your voicemails, make sure they're not full and people can't even leave you a message. I'm so guilty. You're checking your email, maybe you check it twice a day. Maybe you've worked with AI that checks it for you. I did something a couple of weeks ago where I gave Manus access to my Outlook and it knew it said, "Hey, we're going to check the email ever so often and we're looking for something particular. We're looking for, they had client names, they had client business names, keywords like photo booth rental, work, hire, like so they had all the things. And if those popped up, I would get a text or notification saying, "Hey, you got an urgent email. We've gone ahead and drafted what the response should be. Check it over. If you like it, we'll send it." But what you say on the phone, how knowledgeable are you of the type of event that they're having, right? Um, of the venue that you're going to be going to. Your language, how you talk to them. Are you using, you know, um, business language when you're on the phone? Whatever your rapport is, um, that shows up professionally with the client, whether they move forward with you and you send them, or you tell them you're going to send them a quote and it's going to be like with me, I always tell them, I said, you expect a quote in the next 25 minutes, right? And I make sure I stick to that because they remember, well, she said 25 minutes. It can't be 25 days. It can't be when you think about it, right? And so very good at that. But then there's tools that can help you. Once somebody calls you, they go into your workflow, into your funnel of they're going to get a call, they're going to get a text, they're going to get an email, whatever they're going to get. Have it already set up so that you can just put them in there and boom, forget it. and it's happening without you even thinking about it. I think that's the best way. A couple of things. It's professional, and two, it helps you show up consistently. Social proof and reviews. How many of you are getting reviews from your guest and or from your client? Part of my microsite is I ask for a 5-star review. Or if you're, vibing with a client or vibing with a guest, it's okay. Say, hey, we thrive off of reviews. Do you mind leaving us a review? And having the way for them to as quickly get access to writing the review does matter. We have QR codes for it. It's like I said, it's in the microsite that is clicking and automatically they can go ahead and leave a review. I also put it in the last email to the client with their pictures asking for the review. So just constantly putting in places to ask for the review. Even it's in the beginning, in your language when you're talking to them. Like yesterday, I was in Old Navy, and I was leaving. The guy was giving me the receipt. First thing he did was circle where the questionnaire was. Here, if you have time, please fill out our questionnaire. We're looking for all tens. Like he's telling you this is what we need. So, when you're talking with your client and you're getting into the weeds with them, hey, we always want to show up. So our reviews, we always looking for those 5-star reviews. Start implementing that you need 5-star reviews. Don't say review, that you need a 5-star review. 5-star reviews really, in your communications. Maybe it's already in your signature. And then maybe, you've impressed them enough during the pre-event that they're ready to write the review right then and there. You didn't even have to have the event. So always leave room for that. Um, and also respond. So if they leave a review, make sure you're responding in a timely manner. And that you're pointing out different things, where it was, what you did for them, the venue. They love that. So definitely the planner, definitely mention those things in your review. Reliable operations. Ooh, Lord Jesus. Smooth behind the scenes, perfect on the big day. I am anal when it comes to the operation side, maybe too anal. A lot of people are like, oh, the workout. When we get there, oh, we'll figure it out. No, I hate that stress of something not working, forgetting something. So having a checklist, having somebody check what you did, right? You pack and then have somebody come behind you and check that you took everything. Because I'm so guilty for saying I got everything and get there and be like, I sure did leave it. I sure did. And then thinking ahead of time, you need 2 or 3 extra extension cords, extra batteries, extra cords, just maybe having that uh-oh bag with you and ready to go, packed for every single event. We used to have, we call it a toolbox. It was a black like tub, and that was specific because all the other tubs were clear. So we knew that the toolbox had all the scissors. How many times have y'all been at an event and be like, dang, anybody got no scissors? Just all the things that you need should be in your toolbox. Okay. Extra paper. Oh my goodness. So just think of those things, and so it becomes routine for you and for your attendants. How many times, like last week, I'm so proud of my attendants. They know their roadie, but the monopod with the roamer. So the monopod has its own little bag, and so we don't always keep them together. So you have to remember to bring the monopod. So my staff, when she was getting, ready for the event, she texted me and said, "Hey, don't forget the monopod." And so that made me feel good because they're caring about, making sure they have what they need to have a successful event. So that was really cool. Client relationships that lead to referrals. Ugh, this is me all day. If it's not you, it's definitely something you can do as far as, okay, I see there's a chat. There's definitely something you can do as far as practicing or, finding ways to build the relationship, whether it's being helpful, like I said, showing up early, checking in throughout the booking process, the sales process, after the event. When you're there, like one of my clients, I point out that, oh, you look nice today. One of my clients is pregnant, so I'm always giving tips, checking in on her. Even when we don't have events, I'm checking in, making sure she's good. So those little things really matter. Okay, let me see. Escape, admit. Let me check the chat real quick. No such thing as too anal, and your white label event guide is clutch. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get even better. Tiffany, I wish you were in my Connect team, because then you'll really see. I didn't put you in there. I need to put you into that Connect team because we know we do come down to Charlotte at least twice a year. And now it's looking like more. But I can't make them. I can't do all of them. And so to build that team with you, I'm so, so grateful for what you did last week. I keep saying, is it still last week? Yeah, it was Friday, right? Last week it was great. Appreciate you. Why trust wins the big bookings? Well, we can attest to that, Tiffany. They feel way more comfortable when they know they're working with the right vendor. So I was telling Tiffany, I was like, I'm trying to figure out if my client is going to be there or not be there because he's being extremely overbearing about this event. I was like, we're only doing aroma for basically 2 hours. What is the problem, sir? We do this all the time. What is going on? Um, is everything good? Do you need me for anything? Are we all good for Friday? Is everything good? Like he was real nervous, and then I calmed him down, sent him a picture. I reminded him who was going to be there, that they're very, very capable. They've worked with you before, all the things. And that just kind of put him at ease. And then thank you, Tiffany, for responding. When she got there, she saw him and again put him at ease. I think when a person can be at ease and know you got it, oh my gosh, they'll call you over and over and over again. So the first thing is to reduce risk. Be reliable, be fully insured, clear policies, backed by reviews. And I always used to say in the beginning of my business, my contract is like forever changing because you notice things like, oh, you know what, if one of my biggies, I remember had to change it on my contract, but one of my biggies is if the client is providing the power through a generator, that we are the only client using that generator. Because we've had events where somebody messes with the generator, the DJ, somebody, and turns everybody off. And back in the day, we were running PC and everything was hooked through this PC. So to shut me down is not easy to come back up, you know. And if you were in the midst of a print or you're in the midst of a taking of a picture, like it was just horrible to get shut down like this. I was like, if you're gonna put us on a generator, we need to be the only person on generator. And then we used to notice, I don't know if any of you guys notice when you're on the generator that the booth acts a little funny the next time you're not on the generator. So anyway, I haven't had those problems since, but different things like that. The other question I was thinking is, and that would make you kind of stand apart is fully insured. Do you offer up your COI immediately through like the booking process? Like once you send the because I use 17 Hats and there's a client portal. So I'm like, once you know the venue, should you go ahead and make the COI for the event, put it inside of their client portal and send them, like, hey, check your client portal. Another way for them to use the client portal, Lord Jesus, check your client portal. You'll see that I uploaded the COI for the event or if whatever they need, extra insurance. Maybe the client needs extra insurance, that you've done that process. Maybe they need a mock-up. Their mock-ups can go there. So just start using your systems and making sure that they start to understand that you have systems. How many times do people call, well, how I pay for this? Cash? What you take what how you do? You want to make sure that you are anticipating all the guests' needs and wants, and especially yours to get what paid. All right. Perceived professionalism, polished communication, clean setup, branding, professional staff, attention to every detail. You look the part, they trust the experience. I think by introducing your attendants or just saying their first name, is a good thing. My It's getting bad with my AI assistant Gina. People are looking for her at events now. I mean, I'll show up. We did the National Theater in DC a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month or two ago now, and I walked in and the ladies like looking past me and looking around me because there's a card with a picture of what Gina could look like, right? On her signature. And she's looking past and she was like, is Gina coming? And I'm like, Gina is an AI assistant. But I will definitely let her know you were looking for her. No, I'm Sharon, I'm the owner. So it was so cool for her to be like looking for somebody that's not even real. That meant a lot to me. That means that my workflow is working, that the communication feels real and natural, and clearly she would trust it. She trusted Gina. Um, Confidence and delivery. So letting them know, like reminding them that you're coming, like we do something because, oh my gosh, sometimes people will fill out our form early, the day of the form, early event. We call it our pre-event survey. And the venue has changed, or the time has changed, or where you're setting up has changed. And they don't go back and look at it because it's not sending them a reminder to. So we send a reminder like, hey, we just want to check. And then in that email that you have those things linked up, that the venue, what the address is, so they just can't say it's in a certain city because that has happened to people like, oh, it's in DC. Where? What hotel? What conference center? Where is it at? So make sure you have done all that work, and then when you send that email, if it's a week out, hey, is it still at this time? Is it still at this venue? All the things like, oh yeah, yeah, we did change that. That's super duper helpful. But also, if everything is the same, it's like, oh, they care about, our event. They know everything about it. Good. Everybody's on point. Because I reach out before they have to reach out. Well, we haven't heard. You still coming? You ever get that? You still coming? What time are you getting here? And I got people, I still do everything, but they still ask those questions. A lot of people want to know who you're bringing. Like for us, when we work with the Washington Commanders, we have to. It's a whole process. They got to take a picture, they got to get into their system, they got to send this and that. It's a back and forth. It's like a whole deal. Where others just want to make sure that you're on the list or you're accounted for when they serve the dinners, right? Are we getting a vendor meal? Is that why you need to know? Yeah. So you just never know why they need to know who's coming. So that um, actually is good because it forces your attendance to kind of jump and grab these events as they're coming in. Um, Higher willingness to pay. They see the value. So when they can trust you, they don't care what your price is. Sometimes they care. It depends. But they're willing to pay a little bit more. What's the old saying? You pay for what you get. And I don't mind telling people. I said maybe like, oh, we found somebody to do it for $100 an hour. Well, you pay for what you get, and good luck. I don't say that, but in my mind, I'm thinking that. All right, let's keep going. So, let's see, what else does it say? Clients are not just comparing booths, they are deciding who feels safe, polished, and dependable. How do they know what you look like? How do they know how you're going to show up? Are you sending mock-ups? I want to get into sending them what it looks like when we show up. So a lot of times I keep a lot of good clean pictures. When you got a nice clean setup, take a picture. And use those pictures. If your manufacturer has pictures, use those pictures. I used to be part of photo booth marketing, had great marketing materials. I still use those. I put them on my YouTube. So people want to know, well, what's the experience like? Boom. Here's what a roaming photo booth experience looks like. Here's what trading cards looks like. So you have something to show them. And just don't send them something that you're not going to show up like. If you're not going to look like that, don't send that. Um, but with the personality, you're showing up, you got some mock-ups. It all works together. And if they enjoy that beginning experience, like I'm talking to kids now who are trying to get into college. I've been calling the school, I can't get through. If people have a difficult time through this process, they're going to expect that you're going to be difficult on the day of, and they're really going to expect for it not to go well at the end. Or sometimes people show up really good in the beginning and then it's kind of lackluster at the event and then it's horrible afterwards. So make sure that the whole experience from beginning to end is enjoyable. You're doing your check-ins, you're making sure the client is good, and you haven't missed any steps. Whew. First impressions build trust. Remember, I talked about your website, your social media, the inquiry process, right? How do they get to you? Does it look like, if you trust this person? Only thing I kind of have to deal with 17 hats sometimes in the beginning when I have a new client, it takes a minute for it to show up in their regular emails, but I remind them. So I'll say that's why I always know the time frame and I try to keep to that time frame. So I'll say, I'm going to send you a quote. I'm going to send it within 25 minutes. If you don't see it in your regular thread, make sure you check your spam. Sometimes it goes there. And then save me as a contact so we won't have that problem anymore. You know? So make sure you're doing those things. You're kind of anticipating their needs. They're going to want to know how much it is, you know? So the way my AI does a lot of my quoting, it'll give them a general kind of like, price in the quote. And if you're not quite sure, sometimes you just send the general email, and then you go in depth with your official quote after you've kind of warmed them up. Visuals, so their colors, your logo is on everything. You have a signature at the end. It's just not your name, Peter. What? So when they look at the email, they're like, oh, that's the photo booth lady or whatever. Um, Stay up. All right. Setup and appearance. I talked about that. Showing a really, really polished look. Or showing the difference. So a lot of people like, well, can I see the difference between a digital booth and a print booth? So our difference is with the digital booth, there's no print station, there's no sharing kiosk on the back. Hold on. I'm answering text messages. Hold on. Oh, it's a lot. Okay. Hmm. One thing to add, event code 1234. I didn't see it. The details for Friday, 11 minutes ago. Oh, okay, I got you. Yes, yes. Thank you for saying that. That little thing. I usually use 1234. That's my password to get in and out of the system. I'm sorry about that. What's your upgrade for AI? You shared this before, but I missed it. AI. Meaning for the AI photo booth? So basically, and that too. So I just ran into that issue. So I have a client coming up at the end of the month. They usually get a 360, a roaming photo booth. That's it. This time they're getting a roamer. They're getting a selfie booth, which is really not going to be a selfie booth, but they want a selfie digital booth, no prints, and then they want an AI booth, right? And so the selfie booth is 900, and the AI for them starts at 1500 plus $350 for one AI experience. Now, I like to do up to three. So if I was quoting them brand new, it would be, and this is for a 3 hour event, it would be the regular photo booth with prints for 3 hours plus the 350 for um each of the AI. So she was like, "Well, why if since it's no prints, why can't it be 900 and 900 plus the 350? Because it costs me credits to run the AI booth. The 350 is my admin fee to come up, create the AI and all that. And if she wants more, so then she's like, "Oh, I get it now. Okay, we want two more." So they want three total AI experience. So I had to add 350, 350 again. I don't mess with the credits. I leave that alone because that, especially with that group, if I thought everybody was going to try it, I would probably push a little harder to get 1800 on the low end for the AI photo booth itself and then add the 350, 350, 350. But they got a little bit of break. But anyway, that is very hard to explain without explaining to a client, especially if they're getting both at the same time. Um, I hope that answered your question, Tiffany. All right. Great. Let me make sure. Did I miss anything there? No. Um, Create a brand people recognize. So your correspondence. I was doing something today. The way you show up in email, the way you talk, the way you email people, your colors, your brand, having a signature on there. People pink and purple, that's Sharone, right? So always kind of visibly be noticeable. There's certain people in this business you can tell right away when you see their work or you see the way they post on social. You know it's them, right? So to see what do you look like? I was doing something earlier. I had AI look at my Instagram and what are the top three events that just stick out at you? If I want to try to attract more corporate trade show people. And it did it. It looked through and it was like, oh, this, and this, and these stand out because this. Would you like me to write emails for them? I was like, yes, and yes, and yes. Thank you. So just kind of do an audit of what do you look like? How do you show up? Okay. So, visual identity. Use the same colors and fonts across everything. The way you do your post, like it should look uniform when people see it. Video is king. So video with maybe some text on it would be cool. Brand voice. How do people know it's you? And I come in the hey chit chat, build a brand voice. Sound confident and warm and clear when people you know what you're talking about. Offer clarity, make sure they understand exactly what they're getting. I was in some kind of panel discussion talking to somebody, and they were saying with corporate, they want line items because they want to know where every piece of that money is going to, whether it's, your line item in media, staff, labor, parking, whatever you're doing, that it's kind of broken down, not just all lumped up into some. Now, some stuff I'm going to lump up, but they can kind of break down when they're comparing different contracts or bids that they're getting. It makes it easier for them, is what I was told. And they tend to go with the person that documents make it easier for them. I did data for a company, and they were very particular about how that went back so that it matched with their system and it made that easier. Like it's nothing worse than getting some kind of document that you got to re-edit, resize, down, do this and do that to it just to see it. You want to make sure that you're delivering it in a way that they can understand and use it. And I'm just saying that on the corporate side. On the social side, again, people want to know exactly what they're paying for. We show up early. We're going to bring premium paper. You're going to have two staff members there dressed to a T, all the things. Just show them so they understand. If you just said, oh, we have 2 hour photo before $400 and then walk away, they want to know what they're paying for, especially social events, because these people are spending what? Their hard-earned money. So you want to deliver a signature experience. So you can label it how you want. I remember when I first started, this girl was all about weddings, and she's like, I deliver a fantasy wedding. So from the beginning, they have a Cinderella experience from me. They have the glass slipper experience. She would do these like candy pop rings when she would do her wedding shows, and people would remember her for, oh, you were the lady that gave us the candy pop rings. So she always was doing something to deliver some kind of signature experience. I don't know what that is for me, honestly. I know we deliver great customer service. We show up 2 hours early. Um, I'm always coming up with the creative. Now she's the AI girl, so maybe my signature is AI. I don't know. But I try to be as consistent as possible. Consistency equals credibility. Um, being very familiar with my client and their cycle of when they hire me. Um, you know, Take a look at your emails every so often. When did they email you last? If you have your CRM, sometimes you can just pull some reports. The last 3 months, who booked me? Look at the first top people that booked you. Send some kind of notification out. I don't know. Built in ways to show up and deliver a signature experience. Use social proof as a trust shortcut. We talked about reviews. Screenshot your reviews. Put them on your website. Um, I send people to my Instagram all the time. Um, Testimonials. I need to do better with getting more testimonials. I see people all the time asking people for their reaction. Sometimes I'll capture their reaction, like on video, if I'm filming or something like that. So I guess that, but as far as like really getting a testimonial, from a client, I don't always get that. So I should do better with that. Client photos. I always encourage the client to take a picture, while we're setting up. Be my test print. Make sure you get the team together and come get a picture. Those are the best. Brand corporate clients. Let them know. Yeah, when we work with so and so, like a lot of some of my emails come, uh, who trust us? What brands trust you? They like to hear that. And then for me, I get a lot of events from events. So if you're doing a gala, a lot of those people are planning other galas, or they work for big companies, and they are looking for someone like you. Um, Behind the scene proof, setting up the magic. It's always a work in progress. But we were talking, me and Leah were talking earlier. She's talking about her cart. And just the way you show up, how y'all load in. If you look a mess coming in, oh my goodness. If you don't have what you need, do you have this? Do you have, is she together? Now we do forget that gaffer's tape sometimes, but I'd be so mad when we do. But leaving enough time to make sure that if we do have some mishaps, we have time to clear it up and clean it up. My biggest thing with some of my staff is cleanliness when they're setting up, keeping our stuff in one area. When you start leaving things somewhere, that's how things get left and misplaced, or in some cases picked up. We had a case, for one of our flash covers that went walking because our stuff was too close to the DJ stuff. Reliable operations, create real trust. From the inquiry, they reach out. Planning, we plan it together. Have a couple of conversations during planning. Event day, we run it smoothly, and then the follow-up. Make sure within 2 days these people get a follow-up. And then I have another email that Gina sends out that kind of pushes them towards thinking about when is the next event. Especially a lot of annuals, hey, have y'all already scheduled for next year's event date? Grab that date now, all the things. Like one lady, something happened, and I ended up, because they changed their quote so many times, I ended up sending her an invoice. And she was like, wait, we usually do the contract first and then ma'am, they know your system better than you do. I'm trying to tell you, they be learning quick, especially if you're consistent. Um, So I talked about behind the scenes, making sure that it's seamless as possible. And that just comes from preparation. As soon as I get it, and as soon as the client fills out that pre-event survey, I'm already putting that into my logistics and turning out an event sheet. And everybody has a role, and what time I want you to show up, and where to park. Because I hate when people, I'm trying to find a place to park. No, you try to find a place to park on your own time, not mine. So just like preparing your attendance for what the night is going to bring or the day is going to bring. Be real quick with your fast responses. If you get a text, an email, a phone call from a potential, respond as quickly as possible. Within 5 minutes is goal, but as soon as you see it, respond. Even if you don't have an answer, just respond. Set it up so that you get automatic response. Okay? Quick replies show the value of their time. So they're like, oh, well, that person's working on, they're going to get back to me. Rather than I called a few places, but people don't answer their phones. I've heard that from a lot of clients. Clear contracts and communications. Everything I talk about, I usually follow it up with an email. Like, so I have people like to call me all the time. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow that up with an email just to make sure per our conversation today. I hate that, but per our conversation today, XYZ, just to make sure that what you said was what you said and when you said it, and it's documented. Okay. Um, a solid pre-workflow. So, like I said, I created a workflow for Gina. She is my assistant inside of my 17 hats. And when the client books us, we turn on her workflow, which is immediately a welcome to, the experience with us. She asked them to fill out the questionnaire. Then she's going to email again to remind them. Then she's going to email again to try to upsell them. We always try to upsell a roamer. Now we always try to upsell a roamer and AI. Then she asked one more time about the roamer. And then it's, hey, let's double check this information. This is what we have. Then it's the date. We're so looking forward to seeing you today. Our team will be there hour to 2 hours ahead of time, blah, blah, blah. And then, so it's her workflow is going. Start thinking about backup plans. Like we said, we bring extra batteries. You start thinking about people. If a client, I mean, sorry, if an attendant is like, well, maybe I don't do maybes. If they sign up but they flake before, I always, see if there's somebody else. Um, and if yours, so we use Connect Team. If it's set up where you can kind of have staff member inquire about a job before they are confirmed for a job, I would definitely turn that on. Because one thing you don't need is a headache of staff not performing. You got to get the event booked. You got to get the equipment together. You got to get the equipment working. The last thing you want to worry about is the staff member. Deliver an experience people remember. From maybe your look to your customer service has been key for us. People want the experience. We just added these lights. I really added them for the glam bot, but we started using them with the photo booth, and it's almost like a strobe. And so when they get over there, they feel like they're in paparazzi, and there's lights going off all around. And people just love it. They just want to like to be shown. Then some people don't, but for the most part, they just like to be shown and welcomed. I tell my attendants, keep their head on a swivel, make eye contact with people, be welcoming, wave, welcome them in. Romer is so hard. I'm trying to tell you, I did the Romer the other day. I was telling Peter, and I haven't done it in a while. And when you're in an environment where people aren't there to get their picture taken, it's even worse. These people came, I was at the casino. People came to gamble, smoke their cigarettes, drink they drink, and be on when they merry way. No, I don't want to take a picture. So it was like pulling teeth. So I just was saying, Happy Derby Day. And they're like, what? Because they didn't understand. I'm talk fast. They didn't understand me. So they gave me an opportunity to tell them about Derby Day and why I'm there. And then they were willing to take a picture. But if I just walk up to them and say, you want to take a picture? They were like, no, because they're not there for that. If you're at a wedding, oh my gosh, my attendant last week, Saturday, she did 180 images. The photo booth didn't do any of that, but she was on that dance floor, just turning around, boom, boom, boom. People were like, "Come here, me next, me next." We don't always get that, so I think that's another reason why people decide to take a job, and when they don't take a job, because they remember stuff like that. She had a great time. She didn't complain about it, but it's a different feel, and we have to think about that. When we are planning with our client and telling them, like I tell my, look, I've been doing this for 12 years. And from what I know, guests like this, or this happens when, and da da da. Now, if they go against me, then it is what it is. I don't feel pressured or any kind of way if it doesn't work out because I've said my piece. I think this is what you should have. So with that client, I kind of in my mind knew because I've worked a casino before that people aren't coming here for that. And so I suggested AI that we could put people in derby gear. And she was like, "No, we just want the photo, the aroma." I was like, "Okay." So the last hour, and I could see it in her face, she's like disappointed that people didn't come dressed up and da da da. And it was getting harder and harder for me to get people to take pictures because they weren't dressed. They was like, "Well, I don't look good. Not today. My hair." So I went ahead and turned it on. And lo and behold, our numbers jumped. And people had fun. And they went and grabbed people. And they told people about it. And she's over there and looking for me. Just saying. Anyway, but they remember that. Remember the lady that turned us into this? So I just think just delivering that really good customer service with a smile and going above and beyond guest expectations is key. Having great output, making sure that it's, what they need. Now I'm struggling with prints right now. I'm on the fence. I really like just digital, but I'll do prints. We try to do the luxury metallic paper, but that's not for every event. having, servicing your printers. People are getting into the keychains and engraving, just trying to stand out, giving them different output in a new way. It's the same picture, but you're just getting it in a new way. Okay. I added, they didn't get a slideshow, but I've been working on my doing vertical slideshows. So I brought it with me, and a lady was like, "Oh my God, I love to see myself on TV." Crazy. We also noticed doing the glam bot for CIAA with Reggie and his wife that the guests were more excited to see their self on the slideshow than they were on the iPad to text it to themselves. They're like, "Oh, that's cute." And then when it comes up on the big screen, they're like, "Oh, it's cute. Oh my God," they're telling people about it. But you didn't tell them about it 2 minutes ago on the iPad. So it does make a difference. Anywho, um, smooth sharing and follow up. Making sure your socials are attached some kind of way. On the bottom of my microsite is not only that 5-star review, but there's also a hyperlink to my website to get a quote, and also to Instagram, where they could follow me, they can contact me, they can ask for a quote there, all the things. Turn trust into referrals and repeat business. I always go for the repeat business. I love repeat business. Something that's annual. Galas annual. Proms are annual. Some conferences are annual. So just looking for annual events, okay? Trusted brands do not chase every lead they create. Ah, that is really cool. Advocates. All right. So the first thing, great experience. If you deliver a great experience, people are going to want it over and over and over again. Make sure that client is happy, happy as can be. Stay in touch, get the feedback, get the review, which leads us into number three, getting that Google review. Whether it's a review on your Google, if they comment on one of your posts, if they repost, I love when people repost my work. I always go to Instagram after, and I look for people to repost my images from the event. So you can just search by the venue. If they had a hashtag, search the hashtag, and I look for people to have, they take my picture or my video and they repost it. I was like, "Oh, so happy to have you at the photo booth. Oh, so happy to have you at the glam bot," whatever it is. Referrals. Referrals are earned. So if we do a good job, sure, if you get a relationship going with your client, that they'll automatically refer, but also ask sometimes for the referral. Anybody else in the department, or, hey, I noticed this or that. Get them to refer you. My season in Commanders came from a referral. Um, my relationship with the Commanders came from a referral. So referrals are gold. Repeat bookings. Something I'm working on this year is getting my clients that book me several times a year to get on some kind of a yearly retainer or 6-month retainer, guaranteeing the events that they got ahead of time, and offering a significant discount by paying me for the year instead of paying me for events. Now, I am nervous as hell about that, y'all, because um, if you're going to get an influx early, you're going to have to figure out to how to maintain that money, share it. Like, well, we do Christmas in July, I take the full payment for them to get the discount, and then half of it gets put into an account that I don't touch, because that's your income for November, or when they would have paid the full amount. So I don't touch that until November, because that's my income. If I touch it now, then I won't have no income in November. So that's kind of how I would have to look at this if I did it where people are paying me for multiple events at one time. If you know, like, or like, I want to build out, I was talking to Trevor, another photo boofer. He has a contract with a school. If I can build out a annual with the school, which might be better, um, it's just funny the way they pay. But trying to get it so that they know I'm going to show up, and we only have to go through this process one time. Especially people that have lengthy processes with their money. In fact, I think I got one I need to follow up on, y'all. process with their money and it got to go through accounting and this person got to sign off and the PO like I'd rather just do that one time and then don't worry about it. So anyway, just some food for thought. Um, and again, I think they would only do that if they trust you. And then we talked about rewards. I do reward my loyal customers with a 12% discount. It takes up to 4 or 5 events before they get the 12. After the second event, they get 10, um, 10%. And then once they hit 4 or 5, they get 12%. And then I think I do 20% if they do Christmas in July, meaning if they book the whole thing and pay for it up front, they get 20%. If not, when they book me in November or December, um, they only get their 12. And these are loyal customers. But I'm not, I'm open to getting new customers if I've gotten them for corporate events, but we haven't done a holiday party with them. I'm going to reach out and see if they're open to doing what I would love to do this year is more Santa pictures. I mean, we had the best time working with Santa Clauses this year. We had that one Claus that we had 2 days in a row. He was awesome. Peter worked with us. He was Santa Claus. I mean, the line was wrapped. So many people want that live prop interaction. We even had a fan dressed in a Scrooge outfit come over. He ended up staying with us for a while because people didn't want to let him go. They wanted a picture with him. So I was like, well, I mean, you got a tip jar, but he is not part of the experience, y'all. He got to go get to his seat. So anyway, um, your trusted brand action plan. This is what you need to do. Audit your website. Make sure it's easy to navigate to. It does what it's supposed to do. When you look at your website, does it say who you are, where you're at, and what you want them to do? Mine is get a quote. I don't have a pop-up, but that's what I want people to see. She does photo booths and they want to have me send them a quote. Clean up your visuals. Use bright, well, you know what your visuals are, but make sure that you have pictures, videos, just clean it up. Make sure that it looks like the brand you want it to be. Tighten your messaging. Go through your emails, reread your emails. Tiffany just pointed out one of my emails that goes out about working with me needs to be updated, so just kind of update your emails, text messages. I'm using funnel now. Just got to go through making sure all the links work, right? And nothing worse than sending somebody to a link that don't work. Improve your inquiry response. Reply fast, be helpful, and make bookings feel effortless. I remember, I think last week, Chris Meyer posted that he had his biggest activation ever. It went from a $12,000 6 photo booth to over $100,000. And it's because he used the term, what's next on your list for planning? See if we can help you. So he ended up bringing in more to the business, to the contract by collaborating with others that do different work, but he brought it in underneath his brand and took a commission for bringing it all together. So, if you do have a nice collective of people, or you get the call early enough where you can kind of help with the planning and bring in, that happened to me on a holiday party. They put me in touch with the lady, and not only did she want a branded backdrop, she wanted balloon art, she wanted a live slideshow, she wanted custom props, like all these things that the initial referral didn't tell her I did or could do. So I've seen it happen. So definitely look for opportunity on that initial call. Collect more reviews. Find ways to talk about reviews early on. Make sure that you're asking for it in that final email. You can add it to your microsite. Like I said, it's a hyperlink on my microsite. So every guest could possibly leave me a 5-star review. Standardize your workflow, create systems and checklists so every event is smooth and consistent. That too, and for me, it's organization. We got to get our stuff organized so that part is a smooth transition, and it's fun, and it's enjoyable, not stressful. So that's how you forget stuff too. Elevate each day, sorry, evaluate each day service. So post event, make sure that you're going through what worked, what didn't work. Prepare for the next event. We're so guilty of not immediately bringing in our batteries and recharging them. But just, when I say look at your day, just making sure that you look at it for what it is. How can you improve it? Where did you where did you exceed at? And making that a part of your system. Build. I'm gonna go back. I had an event. I didn't know how it was gonna work. It was an AI event. I knew it was gonna get crazy because of the numbers, and I got a chance to be kind of like the fly on the wall and oversee the process and kind of interject like a coach, where what people should do to make the flow better for not just the attendant but for the guest itself. Like if it looks chaotic, they're like, well, where do I stand? Where do I go? Like you got to be very clear. We did a grand opening for not grand opening, open house for Virginia State, and the space was so big. We're just trying to decide, well, we're gonna have the guests come in this way. Like really define your workflow so that everybody is working together. Another big thing for me is handoff. Because we do our photo booth and our sharing in the same with the same booth. If I'm doing the photo booth, as soon as I'm done, I'll say to the guest, "Hey, that was great. Now go to Victoria. She's going to give you your print." So I hand them off, and Victoria, when she hears her name, waves. Like it's nothing when people could start looking around. What do I start? Our screen says touch to start, tap to start. No, I do that. They shouldn't even have that opportunity. So just, kind of really being there for a guest that gets that type of experience. And they'll appreciate it. If they're wearing name tags, use their name. People love to be called by their name. They also love compliments. So make sure you're complimenting it. Oh, you guys look great together. All right, get together. Da, 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 whatever. So anyway, let me go to the chat and see if there's any questions. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Peter. I'm so sorry, Tiffany. All right, let's go. No such thing. We talked about that. Oh my God, such a great note. We were on a shared generator, and guess what? It died. Right. I hate it. Um, with your build out. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, people love Gina. I have a story to share about how your company shows up via email. Um, this robotic This robotic is what? Rubric is so clean and so simple. Thank you. Will watch the playback later this week, but I have to. Okay, so she had to go. All right. Is Jessica still here? I thought I saw her pop in. Maybe she popped in, popped out. Any questions?
You did a very good job explaining. No questions on anything that you went over. Very thorough.
Yay! Any comments? Any reflection on yourself?
I do have one question because you brought up proposals and workflow.
Mm.
Um, because you can do so many like website proposals, as opposed to those in our CRMs, are you defaulting to that now?
Now, only if it's like special, like how we did the draft day. When I want to show off, yes. Or
Okay.
like if I'm gonna have a meeting about it, right? Like I'm working with a lady now, and I gotta bring it to the committee, then the committee and the committee. So like if on the lead form it says they have to bring it to the committee, I'll
Mhm.
request a meeting
Okay.
with them in the committee so everybody's on the same page because it's nothing like they always put the person that don't know nothing as the person that's supposed to go hire the photo booth.
Okay.
So I hate that. I'd rather be in front of the entire committee. Then you can kind of see who the lead is
Mhm.
based on how they ask their questions
Okay. I
and
understand.
what they really want. Because a lot of times, like I said, with Northwest Federal, they could care less about the photo booth. They cared about that data.
Hmm.
So you want to know, want to make sure that you are speaking their language and you are, tapping into what they really want, and then it reflects in the slideshow.
Got it. The data is super important. It kind of depends on so I was just in a headshot clinic last week, and it was just interesting how different organizations deal with data, or how they capture it. They kept like while you were in line, they were passing the iPad around. It was interesting.
That's what we do for the commanders is we do
Hmm.
uh well we have a QR code that they use their phones to basically fill out the jot form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we were at NASCAR, and Circa was there with the water bottles, and
Uh-huh.
they had iPads. You had to come and fill out their iPad, or it was QR code. You scan the QR code and you fill out the form while you're waiting in line.
Okay. Got you.
Hmm.
Yep. But it
But
was
I
weird
think it's
because you
cool.
still had to put in your email to get the pictures. You
Yeah,
know.
because they're not connected.
Yeah. Okay.
But now, I'm thinking, I might be wrong. I thought that now we can connect their information with their picture with SnapPic. So if that's true, then no, it's still because if it's a group, right?
Mm-hmm.
We make everybody in the group fill out the job form, but we'll take one group picture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if we took a group picture and one person filled out the survey, then we missed, you know, it's five of them. We missed four
How do you
incomplete.
know if they filled out the survey? They get a QR code or something?
They get a thank you page, and so we
Uh-huh.
just tell them to show the attendant the thank you page
Okay, on their phone.
on their phone. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would seem to me to be the easier way to do it than a iPad, because you can't. So they had people they hired to kind of
No, me.
guard
That's
the.
why yeah, you know, yeah, contract gonna look a lot different next year. Because you had to have the right people. So
Right,
luckily I had the right people,
right,
right? That were gonna get the contacts.
right.
One of my, team, she had no hey, come over here, fill out this form. Come on, come on. She was grabbing everybody. Fill out the form. Nope, gotta fill out the form. You gotta fill out the form here, fill out the form. That's all I heard was her fill out the form.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you got somebody that's like that, and I ain't doing look, I came to press start. They not the
Right.
person that's gonna be collecting data.
Yeah, especially people like, what do you need this for?
Yeah, and but it's so rare. We didn't even hear that much. We might have had. I could count on my hand through the whole season how many times people asked that.
Yeah, I think people are conditioned to give in their email now.
They are. They
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And the other thing is, you gonna give me it anyway when you gonna give me a phone number when you text. Like, it was so stupid. But
Yeah, they want the picture, they got to do it.
exactly. But they did confuse the form with getting their output. So that's why the handoff was so important. Because after they took the picture, we didn't want them to assume they could walk away. We say,
Hmm.
okay, now go over to the sharing station and grab your digital and your print. Whoever was there would help you. We'll say their name and they'll wave.
Hmm.
So the handoff was very important because they thought, oh, I already filled out the form. It's going to come to my email or whatever. No,
Right.
it's not. And then
Yeah, I
I
would
would be
assume that too.
periodically checking. So we had a goal. So our client knew what our goal was, and so I would tell my attendants our goal was like 100 higher or whatever, so that we were aiming the whole day. And then I would keep telling them like we're at 200, we have 300, we have 400, how many contacts we got.
Okay,
And mind
that
you, we
makes
was getting
sense.
these contacts in 2 hours. We were rolling.
Wow, cool. Um, yeah, I think, because I was thinking about like having a laptop or something, or not a laptop, excuse me, an iPad, so they could read the terms. But if it's on their phone, they either read it or they don't, and they click the thing.
Yeah.
But they
So
have the option
we
and
would
the
keep one.
ability and the
Yeah, we would
time.
keep yeah, we would keep one iPad for it because people were like, I have my phone. I ain't got my phone. Oh, well, you can use our iPad. So we did have people entering it on the iPad too.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just kept one, but that hardly ever went out.
Okay.
Maybe a few people, but not many.
No, I think it's so many different options, like you were saying, and workflows. You just have to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Well, that's it. Shoot.
I did want to book a time with you to talk about Otis whenever you had made that.
Otis. I know. I got to
Mhm.
talk to Otis tonight. We got this conference that just sent me an email, and they always get the same thing. I want to
Mhm.
offer the same thing, but I want to try to get them to book something else along with it. Whether it's, I think we're going to go ahead and invest in the engraver
Oh, really? Okay.
and see if they want some like on-site engraving. I did get the sketch bot.
I was gonna ask you. Okay, so you can do Sketchbot.
Yeah, but I got it from Touch Picks, the blotter.
Oh, really?
Hmm. So we will cross our fingers and hope that it works.
Well, definitely keep us posted on how it goes.
Yeah, I'm a document it
Yeah.
because me and Touch Picks, we don't always get along.
Right. Do
And
you
I think I'm
still use?
jinxed.
Oh, we're not gonna jinx it.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Okay.
I should have it this week, Wednesday or Thursday.
Cool. I'm excited to see that.
Me too.
Did you see that scribble book I sent you?
Is it the one when it's in his hand?
Yeah, she was like push against the booth and do at the
Oh
signing.
yeah, yes. I liked it. I did like it.
I liked the idea, but I got the impression the output wasn't good because
Yeah,
she
because
didn't
he
post it.
showed it, right.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
saw another guy, he has one. He does it with it's a like he holds it and the glass is there and then it has a like a holder for the iPhone
Mm-hmm.
and has a whole thing for the light for an extra light on top.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I asked how much, and they said, "Oh, 2,000 such and such and such R, whatever." So I was like, "Ooh, that's not US." I said, "What is it US?" And he was like, 240.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, "Well, I'm just nervous because it's on Instagram. I'm like, I ain't gonna send nobody no $240. Who are you?"
right, right,
He was
right.
like, "Oh, hit me up on WhatsApp." What? I'm like, "Oh Lord." I
Mm-hmm.
was like,
And
"I
you know
want it,
me,
but I don't want it that bad."
right? And you know me, I'm gonna try to make it something or do something. I got a little project now. I'm always trying to do too much.
So we'll see. I'll send that to you too, so you can see it. But yeah,
Okay. Okay.
he was like, WhatsApp. I said, where's the website? What is this? It's a mess. I was like,
Mm.
people don't know how. Look again, trusted how you show up. Do you
Right.
look credible? He don't look credible.
Right?
Telling people to, oh, I'll send it in WhatsApp. What? No,
No, thank you.
at all.
Mhm.
Well, all right then. I will see you next week. I'm gonna put some stuff together, and I have a page like an audit that I'll put in the replay link.
Okay, sounds good. It was fun to be able to listen and thank you.
Thank you for showing up. I
Nope,
appreciate you.
no problem. You too.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.